Today in Washington, 250 of the country's mayors are set to meet with President Biden at the White House to cap off a week-long conference focused on strengthening relationships between local leaders. This comes as the president celebrates 2 years in office and looks to tout his administration's accomplishments, including the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Joining us now, a mayor whose city has benefited from that law, Democratic Mayor Aftab Pureval of Cincinnati. Mr. Mayor, it's great to have you with us. I know you have some very important business in front of you, but let's talk about real stuff. Bengals, Bills, Sunday, 3 o'clock, up in Buffalo. How are you feeling?
Well, first off, thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it. Look, what happened 2 weeks ago to Damar Hamlin and the Buffalo Bills family was a tragedy. But I'm so happy that our prayers have been answered. He's doing much better. He's out of the hospital. He's recuperating. But if I could just say a word about Cincinnati's response. We have the best ER residency program in the country, and you saw why that night, saving his life. And then the city coming together, praying for him, showing up at the hospital, giving to his foundation. It was really inspiring. I'm so lucky to be able to lead a city like that. But look, on Sunday, we're no longer Bills fans. We are in it to win it. We're back. We're going to make another run to the Super Bowl. The Bills, you know, they break those folding tables. We break passing records. That's how we roll. So I'm really excited about the game and looking forward to Who Day. In fact, I'm rocking my Who Day pin today.
There we go. Yeah, taking Joey B over Josh Allen. But I'm so glad you said that about Cincinnati. I think part of that story, and thank God Damar Hamlin is okay, that was so moving, was the support of the people of Cincinnati, bringing food to the hospital. You know, school children across your city writing letters to Damar Hamlin. It was really beautiful to watch. So your city really shined in that moment. Let's talk about why you are in Washington right now, Mr. Mayor. Part of it is the infrastructure package. You're meeting with President Biden. What are you going to hear from the president, and what do you want to tell him?
Well, what the mayors, all 270 of us, have in common is that the infrastructure bill, ARP, CHIPS Act, IRA, they have all been transformative for our cities. Let me just touch on the infrastructure bill. There's a very important bridge that connects Kentucky to Ohio, the Brent Spence Bridge. For 30 years, it has been falling apart. It accounts for 3% of our GDP, and it is just structurally unsound. President after president, Republican after Democrat, have stood in front of that bridge, done a press conference, and said, I'm going to get it done. And president after president failed until Joe Biden. Cincinnati got the largest federal grant in our country's history, $1.6 billion to redo that bridge. And we did it by partnering in a bipartisan way, putting all the partisan crap aside and just getting stuff done for our citizens. And what is most impactful is on the day that President Biden was in Cincinnati to announce that bridge, the $1.6 billion, Leader McConnell was there, Senator Sherrod Brown was there, talking about the importance of bipartisanship. Split screen in real time. I think Kevin McCarthy was on his 29th ballot here in D.C. So it was a stark choice between what the country wants, either leaders who are getting stuff done or a party that is in chaos and beholden to its most extreme members. I think the choice is pretty clear.
Mr. Mayor, let's talk a little bit about some of the other issues challenging big cities across America right now. Still bouncing back from COVID. Some cities, of course, dealing with empty offices and trying to get workers to come back into their urban cores. But let's also talk about crime and gun violence. Tell us a little bit about what your city is going through and what sort of federal help you need and may ask for today.
Well, the White House has been very clear that public safety is one of their top priorities. For me, I've been in office for a year, and I've been very clear that public safety is my first, second, and third priority. And we've got real partners with the President Biden administration. Look, ARP saved Cincinnati. The American Rescue Plan gave us the resources necessary to provide the basic services that people rely on. If not for ARP, Cincinnati would have failed, and that's specifically true for public safety. A year into my administration, homicides are down by 18%. and it's because we had the funding necessary to pay our public safety professionals. There's a lot of talk in D.C. about defunding the police. In reality, it's President Biden through ARP and Democratic mayors across the country who are funding and supporting the police. But we haven't stopped there. We have also innovated. Cincinnati is one of the few cities in the country that for some 911 calls like addiction and homelessness, we don't send police officers. We send mental health professionals who are unarmed to connect them to the resources they need and saving very important resources on the public safety side. And on the heels of the most important gun legislation in 30 years passed by President Biden, we are taking a page out of that book. In the next couple of weeks, Cincinnati will be announcing 2 very important, sensible gun reforms to try and continue to tamp down on violence. But we would not have been able to do that without President Biden's leadership on ARP.
Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Pureval, thanks so much for joining us again this morning, sir, and good luck on Sunday. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Who day, baby.